don't want to review this movie. I said I don't want to review this movie! No! 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 You can't take my hat! I feel naked without my hat! Oh. Okay, let's make a deal. I will review this movie for you if you give me my hat back. Okay? Yes? Thank you, okay, right? Howdy folks, Jambareeqi here, and I'm going to review a film that's been called the worst Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. In Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, news reporter April O'Neil discovers that she has a magic time travel scepter, which ends up forcing her to switch places with a prince from period Japan. The heroic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles trade places with 4 warriors from the same time period, using the magic scepter. However, after our heroes rescue April, they realise that they don't know where the scepter is, and end up in the middle of an ongoing war started by the prince's stern father, Lord Norinaga. The Turtles only have 60 hours to get home. Will they make it? I went into this movie expecting a massive train wreck, based on the highly negative reputation it has garnered, but to be quite honest, I don't see what makes it so hate-worthy. It's far from a good movie, but I've seen much worse films. Although, I still think that it's a pretty bad film, and certainly the weakest entry in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles puppet movies. Where do I begin? Well, for starters, the time travel aspect is pretty contrived. I mean, the scepter itself is never explained. It just exists. There's no interesting origin story or anything along those lines. It's just a magic scepter that happens to be laying around Lord Norinaga's home in the past and in April's possession in the present. It's also too far-fetched to believe that precisely 4 Japanese warriors happen to be holding the scepter in the same time period April was trapped in. That's way too convenient. In addition, it baffles me how Donatello manages to use 20th century science and technology to work out the rules of the scepter, an ancient and mythical magic-based object. So yeah, screw the scepter and the writers that came up with it. When the Turtles finally arrive in period Japan, we don't really get a picture of what is going on. Characters speak of a war between 2 opposing families, but the film never explains further, choosing to focus more on the relationship between Lord Norinaga and a British trader called Walker. The trade politics between these two is about as riveting as watching grass grow, because I simply didn't know enough about the setting to fully care. So, what do the Turtles get up to in period Japan? To be honest, not much. They goof about and fight anyone who attacks them, which is the usual recipe for this franchise, but it gets tired and repetitive very quickly. Besides the goofy antics and martial arts, most of the film plays out like this.
Where is the scepter?
Where's the scepter, dude? Where is the scepter?
Where is the scepter?
I wonder where the scepter is. Where is the damn bloody scepter?
Where is the scepter?
Yeah, this is a tediously boring movie that mainly consists of characters pondering the location of the scepter. Sure, the Turtles decide to make their own scepter at one point with the help of a blacksmith, but this immediately makes no sense because how can a nameless village blacksmith duplicate a time-traveling magic scepter? Ugh, fuck this scepter and anyone trying to find it.
Where is the scepter?
Shut up! I think the cherry on top all this movie's stupidity and boredom has to be the terrible sound editing. Most of the sound effects seem lazily slapped on the film's timeline, with little or no attention to the volume or organic place in the film.
Come on! Go! Right behind you! Take off! Oh no, not another sewer!
I'll be back.
Heck, the film even has the cheek to use the tired old children laughing stock sound, the one we've heard a million times. This movie's sound editing is so clumsy that it's noticeably distracting. Okay, so surely the characters save the movie, right? Well, kind of. The Turtles are still entertaining, providing their usual retro sense of humour and silly tomfoolery.
Ohio wasabi.
Hello, mustard?
Okay, so my Japanese is a little rusty. Suzuki Kawasaki. Oh,
How about sayonara?
that'll work.
Ciao.
Yeah,
Adios.
see you later. Yes.
Raphael also develops a cute bond with a little Japanese boy. The few scenes they have together are very sweet and show a softer side to Raph, who has usually been very aggressive in these films.
I cannot let you die, Raphael, son.
Don't worry, kid. Nobody's gonna die.
However, the turtles can be a little bit more annoying than usual, and there's many occasions where the film tries to awkwardly dub in jokes, mumblings and lines, even when the puppets' mouths are closed. Then there's April, who can be brave at times as she courageously stands up to the villains, but her badassery is diluted by her incessant complaining throughout the movie. She spends every scene harshly snapping at her friends and moaning about going home.
Wait. Get it?
This was the worst rescue I've ever had.
Help! I'm a turtle and I can't get up.
I understand she's in a predicament, but her attitude makes her a rather unlikable presence in the film. Also, one thing I loved about this series was seeing April bonding with the turtles, but their heartwarming relationship is ruined by her relentless, spiteful anger directed at her friends. Splinter returns too, and for some reason he's suddenly psychic. Yeah, there are occasions where Splinter indicates knowledge that no normal mind would know. For example, he can tell that the turtles are in trouble even though they are centuries in the past. There's being wise and open-minded, then there's being fucking Mewtwo. Fortunately, Casey Jones is back from the first film and he's still his cool, tough guy self. He spends the movie babysitting the Warriors in the present time. While the scenes between the Warriors and Casey are mainly made up of cliché culture shock jokes, he develops a surprisingly charming bond with them. It's a friendship that's actually more entertaining than anything happening in the past.
Come on, you party animals. I know. Yeah. Okay, come on. Get it together. Just wanted to give you guys a nice peek at the future. All right? Bet you guys feel lucky to be going back, right? Yeah?
Yeah, lucky. We're going back.
This could really screw up history.
Casey also gets his own doppelganger in the past called Wit, but the film doesn't really do much with Wit's resemblance to Casey except point it out once. Though it is interesting watching actor Elias Koteas play a different role to Casey in the same film, especially one that requires an English accent. So what about the villains? Does this movie survive without the presence of Shredder? Well, Walker is your typical gold-hungry bad guy who chews the scenery, and Lord Norinaga's motives are askew, considering that in one scene he tried to kill his son, and in the next, he'll do anything to bring his child home from the future. So no, these villains are too underwritten to serve as replacements for such an iconic villain as Shredder. Right, let's get down to the nitty-gritty focus of this review series, the puppetry. Now, the Jim Henson Workshop didn't do the puppets for this final film in the trilogy. Instead, they were produced by All Effects Company, the folks behind the special effects for such films as Short Circuit, Alien Resurrection, and Stuart Little. While the puppetry isn't drastically different to Henson's, you can tell that the puppets were made by another workshop. The turtles have subtle differences to Henson's work. Their mouths are much less flexible, more robotic, and sometimes don't match the dialogue. The suits look more rubbery than before, the spots are distractingly excessive, and the eyes are crossed way too often. Splinter's puppet is no exception. There's a scene where Splinter is stood at a window, and his movement is very unnatural, like you can tell that a puppeteer is operating him. This breaks the intended illusion, which is bad puppetry. I'll admit that it's hard to see these puppets as organic living characters because they seem more artificial than Henson's puppets. To conclude, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 is a dumb, boring movie with no interest in the story it's trying to tell. It's just a cookie-cutter 90s kids movie with the iconic turtles shoved in. However, it's not a complete disaster. I did manage to find a few positives. In the next episode of Puppet Panic, I'm going to review Oogie Loves. What the fuck? No, fuck you! I am not reviewing the Oogie Loves! The fucking Oogie Loves! What the fuck is that? fucking Oogie Lust! What? Ah! Ow! Ow!